Abraham Hicks rants.
Yes.
And then that kind of puts me in a, mental state that just of open possibilities and opportunities. So that's what I do. And then I, of course, do my skincare and then everything else that falls under that.
Love that. Love Abraham Hicks.
Yeah, me too. Love her.
The best.
Welcoming back Megan Sneen to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, the kind effect is in the house. She speaks our language.
Yes, indeed.
So tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Well, normally I like to start the day in the ocean by going surfing if I can, but if I don't have time to fit that in, then I definitely will have a dance party.
A dance party?
A dance party.
Wow. Okay, what are you dancing to today?
I love Latin music, so I'll usually put on some bachata, get the moves going.
Yes.
Okay. I do not wake up ready to dance.
I think Abraham Hicks and some Latin party in the morning. That pretty much sums
That's a
up
pretty
the
good
best
day.
morning.
Yeah.
Well, we've got breakout pop star Royce in the house. Good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Oh, we're so excited. We got to start the show with your hit.
I know. So excited to hear it this morning.
Oh, it was great to dance to. This was our version of a dance party, by the way. So tell us, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
I would love to say I'm one of those people who get up and productive, but what I do is I get up and I chug just like a pot of coffee. Like that's the first thing I need in the morning. And then I will slowly start waking up. It takes me like an hour, lots of coffee. And then then I just usually start writing music, working on that stuff, but definitely coffee first.
Coffee first, but first coffee, as they say in Los Angeles.
And everywhere else.
And true.
True.
Yeah, exactly. It all started over a vanilla latte at Alfred's.
Ooh, love a vanilla latte.
Exactly. Oh, well, you're hot and you've only got one life to live, so seize it. That is the mission and the motto of Michelle. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Oh, we're excited that you're joining us and going to be sharing a little bit about your branding expertise later in the show. But first, we want to know, how do you start your day?
Yes. So I am a family woman as well. So there's a little bit of the go, go, go in the morning, but around 6-ish, there's a little bit of stillness, maybe 10, 15 minutes of normally for me, honestly, I used to write my gratitude. We're talking, again, 2-3 minutes. Now I honestly just sort of say it out loud or, sort of quietly because people are still sleeping. And then praise of the family rush. And then movement. Honestly, for me, movement, and that means working out, sweating really gets me back to creativity, back to figuring out not just what I'm going to continue to do in the world, but getting into a space where I feel really comfortable and calm to be able to support clients in sessions, really being present, which I think movement helps us, really helps us get there.
Sounds a lot like your morning routine, Rob.
It does sound like that, doesn't it? Let's start with the workout.
Well, Kyle Stefanski is in the house. He is the executive director of Rhonda's Kids. Good morning, Kyle.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Oh, we're
Fantastic.
so excited to welcome you to this show. We know you've been a friend of the Focus family for a long time, and we're
Yes.
excited to know more about your gala tonight. But first, we want to know, how do you start your day?
I start my day usually around 6:30. I'll get up and I will read a Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. It has a daily reading and a guided meditation. And then after that, I'll catch up on emails, catch up on the news. And finally, I will get into some French. I'll use the app Babbel, and I'll do 15 minutes of French every morning because I have a 20-month-old son who wakes up around 7, and I usually take him for like an hour and a half and do the morning shift. And I love it.
So sweet.
The morning
right.
shift in French.
Yeah, that's it.
Say real quick. Well, thank you all
Oui, oui.
so much for being with us. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show.
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. Wow. What a weekend.
Right? How was the
This
retreat?
weekend.
I honestly was thinking, how am I even going to explain? It was 4 days. There was 22 women, and it's so funny because I had a vision thinking there's going to be 22 women here. 21 women were there, but in the opening ceremony, I realized that Laura, who is due at the end of the month, that's the 22nd woman.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it was this beautiful, I was blown away by the first day at noon. Every expectation I had ever had was completely, it was way beyond that. Women were crying, around breakthroughs, also they've just come into their tribe, and it was really beautiful to watch. And then there were some profound moments, like Tony Robbins moments, where you cannot believe what happened. So there was this one moment, we went through all the spectrum of personal, professional, everything. And there was this one moment where we were talking about relationships and really the breakthrough around love and being the expression of love. And one of the gals said, I don't know what to do. I have this great boyfriend, he's really great, but I told him I love him when he was when I was saying bye at the airport the other day, and he didn't say it back. Ooh. And we went, it was kind of like, maybe he's just not that into you, kind of one of those moments, Right. But so we brought her up, and we were talking about it, and we're like, what if the possibility is that we just love, regardless of how it comes back, it's not up to us, we just love, and that's the expression, love is only from within. So I invited her to call her boyfriend and just say, you know what, I just wanted to say that, I just love you. It's okay if you don't say it back. She goes, well, we FaceTime. So I go, well, you could always FaceTime. So we had a room, 22 women. She's on the phone FaceTiming her boyfriend. And he's like, hey, babe, what's up? And she's like, with these things, they kind of set you up for whatever. And I just want to say that, when I told you I love you the other day at the airport and you didn't say it back, he goes, I didn't know if you said it. I was so nervous, and I didn't know if I heard you right or whatever. He goes, I love you.
Oh, wow.
It was like one of those moments where we're all like, yeah. It was so cute because we know that we have to release it. We don't have to have attachment around it. But in that, there's always possibilities. So the women blew me away. They did a big roast for me at the end. Tears of joy. Everyone was like so connected. It was over the top.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have to say, if I saw 22 women on FaceTime behind my girlfriend, I'd probably tell her I loved her too.
No,
love you very much.
No, he didn't know. It was the opposite way.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know everyone was in the room.
Yeah.
It was
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Sounds like so much fun.
It was really.
And so transformative.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How about you guys? So daytime Emmys.
Emmys.
It was the 46th annual Daytime Emmys this past weekend, and I had the honor of co-hosting the red carpet Friday night for the Creative Arts Daytime Emmys, and again on Sunday for the main event. It was epic. What an incredible journey. There I am, right there, wearing Radmila Lawley and talking to the Lifetime Achievement Award-winning chef, Jacques Papin. It was just incredible. I mean, these are the winning moments of people's lives that have truly transformed them, whether it's, they're realizing their dreams or earning recognition. I mean, David Osment, there he is, living legend.
We do love him.
Oh, we love him. He was one of the hosts. It was just so incredible to be able to honor the hard work and the talent of our community in daytime television. It was beyond words. I'm beyond words now, even just reflecting back on this experience and seeing it. Carolyn Hennessy, thank you so much for sharing your crown, your spotlight with me. It was epic. We were back there in the winner's circle, and so literally after they had received their Emmys, they come off stage and they sat down with us, just in tears. And special shout out to the team at After Forever, and the actor and the writer. He just started crying. He said, "This is such a moment. Sweet dreams are made of these." And he just kind of started saying, like, "Sweet dreams are made of these." And so, just to be able to honestly experience something that I had dreamed of my whole life, and realizing that was epic.
That's just so cool, Jess. And you look beautiful. My gosh, those dresses
beautiful. The dress
really
and
beautiful,
everything. And I did run over there for the gifting suite. Of course, I had to get some swag on
pick up the
Saturday
swag.
night. But I was thinking about you guys this weekend. I was thinking, how beautiful is it that we have our every day in the morning together, but we have our own expressions, and you were exactly where you're supposed to be. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. So we want to know where the hell we're going.
I'm just chilling, man. I just chill.
See, exactly where you're supposed to be.
I just chill. Yeah. It was the playoffs this weekend, so I've got some clients that aren't. Well, let's put it this way: some folks that weren't in the playoffs invited me to an event to watch the playoffs, so we did that.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
It's cool. Yeah, it's a good weekend,
See, the thing about Rob is he hangs around a crew that he has to sign some NDAs, and he can actually tell you about the incredibly amazing celebrities, professional athletes.
That's the frustrating part. It's like, I should record.
No, I shouldn't. I wish you could capture that moment, the stories you could tell, but the thing is, he won't. He can't.
No.
These walls could talk. That's right.
But it's because you are like the right-hand man to so many incredible
you're so
people.
sweet, Jess.
Of course, Dr. Aaron and I.
Yes, of course. So I think we have a big announcement to make, right?
We do. Today we are officially launching the next issue of the Focus magazine. This is the innovation issue. On the cover is Allie Webb. Of course, she is the founder of Dry Bar, the co-founder of Squeeze. We had her on the show, and it was just so awesome to be able to honor her. Show her the cover, obviously, and interview her, capture her story. This is what this magazine is all about. There she is. She was so gracious. She was so humble. And we really like to highlight our community and the stories and the profiles of the people who are really making a game-changing difference here in West LA. Of course, we did a little photo shoot with her afterwards on her gallery wall. of all of those who graced the cover of the Focus
Who are these three
magazine.
good-looking
these?
people?
Oh
Look at those people.
There you go.
We
And
made
of
a
course-
centerfold. I've always wanted to be a centerfold. Just kidding.
There you go.
And then there's so many of our friends in here. It's ridiculous. Wes Gear from
West
Rock
Gear,
to Recovery.
Rock to Recovery, absolutely. And all of our special guests that have graced us in the past few months here on Good Morning La La Land. We couldn't do what we do without you, and it's just such an honor to share our community with you.
Oh,
Great
you
job,
did a great
Jess.
job, Jez.
Really
Seriously.
amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
And Andy Waldman, amazing.
I don't know how you guys do it. I truly don't. It's amazing, right?
All before 8 a.m.
I know, exactly.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have a special look at some of my Emmy highlights that we'd love to show you during the break while we set up for our interviews later in the show. We'll be right back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Live from the Pasadena Civic Auditorium, it's the 46th Annual Daytime Emmy Awards, celebrating the best in daytime. So get ready for some major excitement.
Congratulations, by the way, on being honored tonight for the Lifetime Achievement Award. How does that feel?
Well, apparently this is the first time they do it for someone in the food world. So it's pretty exciting.
It's because of you I know how to poach an egg. Hi, Soledad. You know, we were just talking about how this jewelry can make us feel royal. How are you feeling
Thank you.
tonight?
Incredibly royal and a little teeny bit itchy because it's a little.
So, 16 years ago, is there anything you wish you would have known then that you know now?
That's a great question. I think what I've learned is nobody knows what they're doing.
So elegant and also fierce. I always say hashtag fashion speaks.
That.
Right?
I like that. What is this saying to you? What is it speaking for?
For me, it's speaking that you can be truly feminine and stand in your divine power.
Oh, I love that.
What a fashion moment! And we are welcoming the team behind Disney Junior's Vampirina. Congratulations on your win! This program has continued for decades to change the world. Congratulations! Yes, go high five! Celebrate! I'm so excited to see you just blossom. Celebrate and honor the hard work and talent of those who bring your favorite daytime programs to life. It's been an honor to join you. I'm Jez Moye. It's an honor to be with you on Connect TV at the 46th Annual Daytime Emmy Awards here in Pasadena. I'm so excited to welcome the nominees, the presenters, the special performers, and the hardest working talent in daytime television. General Hospital Emmy nominee Lisa, hi, congratulations. Hello, Anthony Rodriguez, Emmy nominee tonight. It's so incredible to honor your friends and family, the people that make your career a success. Vincent DePaul. Vincent DePaul is such a man about Hollywood. He's always popping in. You never know where you're going to see him next. Thank you for sharing this spot.
I mean, daytime people are the best in the world, and I could not share it with anyone more beautiful than you. So there you go.
I appreciate that.
No. Carolyn Hennessy here in the winner's circle with the beautiful Jessamine Moye, who took over for me, and I think is probably stealing my crown next year, maybe. And we're just kind of discussing the red carpet or the Friday night.
Thank you for sharing your crown with me. It was such an incredible honor to cover the red carpet for the 46th Annual Creative Arts Emmys and to step in for you tonight.
It's fun.
What a moment to celebrate daytime television, and that we are welcomed and representing this family is truly humbling, and I am forever grateful for this experience.
Oh, please, my pleasure.
Honestly.
Your show, La La Land, which I was on and which
Yes,
I loved.
thank you.
Because the questions you asked were so interesting for me and for all the guests that day. Your show has a lot of heart.
We really do.
Yeah.
We really do. There is a positive shift happening in Hollywood, and that
Do you
is
think
heart.
so?
I
Really?
do think so.
I hope
do.
so.
I do, Carolyn. I believe we are on the rise, and we are on the rise together. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. A friend of the Focus family here, Fred Speck, is back in the house. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Honored
much
to be here.
for being with us. We know that you are kind of an expert in managing relationships and how success in personal relationships reflects in business and sales. But first, we want to know, how did you develop that expertise?
So I was actually working as a lifeguard for the city of Santa Monica, and my father, who was a brilliant attorney, invited me down to his office to discuss my career. Apparently he was somewhat doubtful that I was actually saving lives.
Oh.
And he suggested that I might want to get a real job, like an attorney or an accountant, or a television host, something that was, that he could understand. Or as a fallback position, I could go into sales. And I think that's how we look at sales in many respects, is that it's your fallback position. Anybody can do that. But the reality is not anybody can do that, but if you're good at personal relationships, you'll probably be pretty good at sales. And I began to think about the fact that I thought I was good at dealing with other people, and turned out that I was okay at sales too.
Well, we have a special look at your interview on riding the wave. Let's take a peek.
If someone were to come to you today and ask your advice, they see your career trajectory and say, I want to do exactly what you did, what would you tell that person?
You really have to pay attention, and you also have to be empathetic. I want you to find me interesting and interested. So when we're having dinner, if you don't ask me any questions, I'm pretty sure you're not interested. Every time you demonstrate to somebody that you cared to follow up, you cared to ask questions, you were persistent to the point of wanting to both educate and to help. I think that comes back in a big way, and it won't all be smooth.
Love that point.
Well, being interesting and being interested. Great 101 of communication. Took you all the way to the top. So what's it been like being at the top? You're working with some of the big hitters in the world. Goldman Sachs, what was that like?
That was pretty fun. What I like most about that business is the information that you had, and I don't mean information you were supposed to have, which would be the kind of the typical, but just there was no subject going on in the world where I couldn't sound credible on, because information flowed into that business like water over the transom, and that was really fun. You had an articulate view of very complicated problems. And none of these problems are black and white. And we had lots of analysts that did lots of research on the very difficult issues, both economically and globally, that went on. So that I liked a lot. I never really, I think the archetypical is, oh my God, it's so much pressure. It's no more pressure than any other job, but it was very fun to be able to develop relationships with people from all around the world and all walks of life. It was great.
So fascinating, right?
Yeah. I loved your point that you made earlier about being sort of interesting and also being interested. What would you recommend to a person who struggles with that, struggles to be interested in other people?
That's a tough thing to solve. And I'll tell you an interesting story. So I'm in New York, and I was out to dinner a fair amount. So a lot of people look at
pretty good dinners, I'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
Seafood towers, champagne.
100%. So a lot of people look at restaurants as an exchange of goods, of services, money for service. But if you're going to a restaurant, you're immediately in a relationship. The cameriere, the waiter comes up and talks to you, and you have a choice at that point to either engage or just to listen. And I developed a lot of friendships, especially with Danny Meyer's organization. So Danny Meyer, famous restaurateur, and he tells this great story of him. They were looking for an additional sommelier, and he hired, we'll just call him Fred, and he hired Fred as a trainee sommelier and sent him down to John Reagan, who is their head sommelier. John calls him back and says, Danny, why did you hire Fred? Fred doesn't know that a Chardonnay grape is a white grape. Danny said, that's okay. We can teach him that. But what we can't teach Fred is how he makes us feel. And so that's a very, very hard thing to teach. But if you can start and say, look, if you come to me, don't forget to ask a question. I'd rather find out something about you, and that might lead to something else.
And they found that. They found that in hiring, that people want to work with people that they like. It's the most important, more than what are your credentials, anything. Like people, if they like you, they will find a way to work with you. So important.
Yeah,
and
I
were you
agree.
just born that way, or was it something you had to work on?
Just born that.
What can I say?
I was the middle child. I had to find
That
a way
explains
to-
all of it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I had two sisters. They beat on me. What can I tell you?
It's survival time.
Listen, my sisters were great students. I mean, they really were. I was not a good student, and but I did find that in general, I was a history major. I wasn't a math major. I'm a big believer in liberal arts education. Big believer in that, and so that taught me, especially history, taught me how to be empathetic. I can't really engage with you unless I know something about you. And if I know something about you, then we'll find a place to have a relationship. And that seemed to come easy for me. I agree. It's not something you can teach. It's very hard to teach. I try to give talks about relationship, and I see that connection of personal relationship with sales. And we want to divide those two as if they're separate, but marketing is an analytical thing. It's not selling. It's and so selling is all about building relationships.
For sure, no question.
Fred, I've got to ask though, without the background, how did you end up a partner at Goldman Sachs?
Oh my gosh,
Question.
Who knows?
They just liked him.
I happen to be the right guy. I happen to be in line. Now, I was not in a place that generally partners came from. I was in San Francisco, and I suppose the transaction of that really drew me into sort of interest to the firm was a relationship that I had developed with the Kamehameha Schools Bishop Estate, and they became one of only two outside investors in the firm. And that's a much longer story than I think we have time for, but that was all about learning about the organization, digging into the organization, and having relationships from top to bottom.
So the key was really investing in your relationships.
100%. I mean, you have to understand, the boss makes the decisions, so you have to figure out a way to get to the boss. And along that way, you're going to develop relationships. You're not stepping over people, you're growing with them.
Well, thank you for sharing that, for being with us today. We greatly appreciate your insight, your time, and your talent.
Great,
a lot of fun.
Great principles to live by, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank
Tell
you.
people where they can find and follow you.
Right
Fantastic.
here.
Right here. Okay.
Well, you give some great speeches. Is there anywhere else you're going to be speaking?
Well, that's nice of you to ask. I tend to give talks to philanthropic organizations. So I'll be back in June giving a talk to the development people at the organization Share Our Strength, which is trying to eliminate childhood hunger in the U.S., by the way. 16 million go hungry every day. One of the challenges there is the development people tend to be younger than me, and they tend to operate a lot through their mechanical, through the phone, but the people that are giving money are probably more like me. And so the challenge is understanding that you can't develop a relationship through a text. It just won't happen. And that's a really difficult thing to teach. So anyway, I'll do that, and then I give talks to universities, kind of the same.
So people
same
that
issue.
do find you through the phone, are you on LinkedIn or something like that? Can they find whether you're going to talk and anything like that?
I'm not on any of that.
None of it. That's
But
amazing.
I know how to email and I know how to text. I don't have much of a bandwidth.
So you're
beyond
out of
that.
luck.
But relationships can't be developed that way. So it's wonderful that we
Yeah.
have this time with you in person. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Thank
I couldn't ignore the faint possibility of having hope in this insanity that we still could be, but we're stuck floating in between. From the unshared discipline myself to let the sparks die out, shattering anything that has reflections of you.
What? 10 seconds left.
10 seconds.
That's it.
Was it?
Oh.
Just kidding.
seconds
That was the
left.
curveball. That was the curveball. Unintentional curveball.
Jeez, that was the rush. You scared me. I was like, okay.
2, 1.
Wow.
Good design.
Okay.
Now,
Show it off.
Camera.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
Megan Sneddon is in the house on this Monday motivation. So she's going to give a little motivation through being kind. She's the founder of Kind Effect. You cook for strangers. You do all kinds of things. Tell us about this.
Well, let's see. I try to mix it up. I love the element of surprise when it comes to good deeds. So I've brought rice to monasteries in Myanmar. I've gone around Mexico City telling people that I love them. I've hugged strangers in Thailand. I've cooked dinner for strangers in Santa Monica.
I love it.
Up to more.
Well, my neck's a little tight right now.
We actually have a look at one of your kindness moments.
I posted a note on my Facebook asking if anybody I knew someone in Los Angeles area that deserved a bouquet of flowers. And I've been talking to this guy on a dating app. I told him about what I was doing and we had plans to hang out today. And lo and behold, he's actually coming with me.
What's up? How you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
What a nice guy, right? Hi. Are you Haley?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Megan. It's
Hi,
nice to meet
Megan.
you.
Hi,
Nice to
I'm
meet you.
Alex.
You know Lauren?
Yeah.
So she responded to my message and she told me about your dad and a little bit more about your story. And I said, that's my girl. And so I just wanted to surprise you with a bouquet. Oh. Still makes me feel how it feels when I see that.
I can imagine.
You know, can I tell you something unique about that story that wasn't mentioned in the video? I had seen from her friend on the Facebook post that actually her dad had passed away unexpectedly, and that's why I wanted to bring her the flowers, because it was part of my story too, that I had also lost my dad. So I really felt called to bring something that would uplift her.
What was the beginning for all of this kindness for you? I mean, when you really decided, I'm going to pay it forward.
Well, really, my background was in journalism, and I had really just grown tired of writing stories that I felt were meaningless, and I wanted to uplift humanity in a very simple way. So I thought back to that time when I was 25 and I had lost my dad, and during that time of grief, there really was nothing that anyone could do to fix what happened. But what made the greatest difference for me was people who came to me and changed my life in simple ways. And it really made me feel like it is the sum of the small things that makes the greatest change. And that also, if you feel like life is meaningless and you're going through a difficult time, just taking a small step to do something for someone else can bring you a tremendous amount of joy.
So fun. So I have a question for you, because in my experience, when I have done service, I remember the first time doing something and feeling like I was so high off of giving.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your experience of that feeling when you do a service or
that feeling is actually called the helper's high, because your body releases endorphins that cause all those feel-good vibes. And then also there have been studies by people like Sean Aker, who is a happiness researcher, who has proven that doing acts of kindness is good for your mental health, because when you do something for somebody and you get feedback from them, you can see that the things that you do matter.
Love that. What's been the most challenging part of this project?
I think the most challenging part is that I'm a solo act. So I come up with the ideas, I produce them, I film them, I edit them, I release all the videos, and now I'm planning to do events in Los Angeles to bring people together. So it's a lot of work in addition to my other job. So it's a lot to manage.
You have little earrings and unicorns.
They are.
Yes.
You're
Clearly,
my
you are a unicorn. This is so brilliant, and I think that everybody would benefit from doing more service, even if it's like giving a homeless person a cup of coffee or doing something for their friend or whatever. I think it's something that people are going to be doing more and more. And thank you so much for being the leader of this, because people are sad. And it's a way to really shift and get out of your own BS, your own belief systems and everything.
It's true. And
right?
what I've noticed from traveling is that in America, we put purpose on such a high pedestal, but I feel like sometimes it can feel unattainable. And so we feel, even though we do so much, that we are not enough or we're never doing enough. And we forget that purpose and meaning and feeling like your life matters can be as simple as doing good deeds regularly.
Oh, that's such an important message. It really is. So tell people where they can come, like find you, learn more about what you're doing, get involved in your events.
Well, they can go to thekindeffect.com, and then all of my videos are also on YouTube at youtube.com/Megan Sneddon, where I also talk about self-love and impact travel as well.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Love your heart.
So
Thank you, guys.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Brad Grunberg.
And you're watching
How to Start.
What is Pussy Poppin', you beautiful humans? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
It's America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of these interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show can be seen on EverTalk TV, now available on Apple TV.
This is my first TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. On this incredible #Miracle Motivation Monday, we are with Kyle Stefanski. He is the Executive Director of Rhonda's Kiss, and you are making miracles, aren't you?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about the organization.
The organization actually started because my mom passed away from pancreatic cancer in 2014. It was a very quick battle, and through that medical odyssey, my family and I, band together, and we understood we had the financial means to try to go to the end of the earth to save her. And what if you didn't? What if you weren't in that situation and you were struggling just to keep your lights on? Not forget the treatment itself, but just the ancillary stuff, like rides to and from the hospital. It's a very serious subject, and no one really talks about it. There's not a lot of money going to it, not a lot of awareness, and so we thought we'd shed some light on it. And that became our mission. And from then on, 2015, we started Rhonda's Kiss, and we threw our first event in Cleveland, Ohio. We raised over $600,000.
Wow.
And with that, we found that there was a serious need for this. We worked with the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio, and they mentioned that this was groundbreaking work because this is floating around hospitals all around the country, but they're not sure what to do with it because a lot of money goes to research, which we definitely need.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But I mean, this is just, underserved. It really hurts them.
Well,
So
Kyle, we have a special look at Tambi, one of our Focus family, interviewing your family on the red carpet at your event.
What's been happening the last year since we've been in LA?
Well, over the last year, we've raised over $1 million for cancer. And actually, it's for people that are in the cancer treatment process. And we're providing wigs and transportation to and from their cancer treatments, sometimes paying rent or for babysitters, and it's for people that are less fortunate.
So Kyle, these are your brothers and sisters?
Yes, they are.
Can you introduce us to everyone?
I can. That's Ashley on the end there.
Actually, why don't you guys all say your name? I'm Ashley.
I'm Alexander. I'm Brad.
Hi, I'm Melissa. How proud are you guys of your brother?
Very proud, very proud. He's been working very hard on this for a long time, and it's just, it's a great thing that he's doing. It really is.
What does everybody see for the future with Rhonda's Kiss?
I think that we see doing just bigger venues and kind of donating more to just saving people's lives in terms of doing full chemo. Not just, the little things, but like the bigger things and being able to pay for someone's whole treatment.
And I think every little bit that you do matters, so as much as we can help out, the better. Absolutely. Well, it's a wonderful thing, and congratulations on the second one in LA and the fourth one, and we hope it grows and grows and makes lots of money.
People have their why. I feel like the greatest leaders that are being birthed we're finding that our suffering becomes our greatest calling. I'm sure for you, this is so beautiful, that you're up to all this. I mean, when you are in the depths of it, when it's hard, what is that you hold? Is it your mom that you're just, or what is that for you?
Yeah, talking about turning that negative into a positive. Initially, I really thought it would be inspirational, and I'd be able to ride that, the inspiration wave and try and, send that to others, and that would be it. But I have found during this process that it's very hard. I do, relive that experience that I had, and I'm very, empathetic. And so when I see, I truly feel. I go to a place that, I just kind of connect with myself, with my mother. I try to, understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, because there are times where it's really hard. This is a message that not many people know, and we're really trying to get it out there. That's why, we have such a celebrity cachet event this evening, because the awareness can really push. And so every day, we sit in our office and the rest of the world is out there, not really understanding what we're doing yet. And it's that drive. You can help one person. You can, my family actually lives by this one story that my father tells. There's a huge storm, and all these starfish wash up on the ocean, right? And wash up on the beach. And there's this little boy walking on the beach, and this man on the dock sees him. He's taking these starfish and he's throwing them back into the ocean. And the man goes up to the boy and he goes, "Boy, what are you doing? You can't save all these starfish." And he picks up the one and he goes, "Yeah, but I can save this one." And he throws it back in. And I think about that. I think about however many people this affects who I'll never meet, and those who I do meet, and I'm gracious to truly meet and understand their battle. I hold true to that, and it means a lot.
Wow. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Tell us about the gala tonight.
The gala tonight. Super excited for the gala tonight. It is at Tao, Los Angeles. It will be a special evening. We have Robert Davi performing Sinatra classics.
That's awesome.
He's a fantastic person. I just shot a movie with him last fall, be coming out this summer. He's just an amazing salt-of-the-earth human being. Then we have Robin Thicke closing out the show as a feature performance. So special, truly special. And our committee, we're lined up with some wonderful, wonderful human beings. Kevin Connolly, David Arquette, PJ Byrne, Emmanuel Shrieky, Peter Facinelli, Jessica Zor. Man, the list goes on and on. But we're super excited. Danny Abikazer, a good friend of mine, he's hosting this evening, actor, producer, director, and just truly, truly wonderful human being. We just have a lineup of wonderful human beings. And tonight is going to be very special. We're going to raise a lot of money. We're starting our new program with City of Hope. So we work at Cedars right now, and we're going to be branching out. We want to touch as many people as possible in this network here.
Thank you so much.
Really?
Yeah.
So inspiring.
Tell everyone where they can find and follow not only your personal journey, but also donate if they want to get involved.
Yes, absolutely. So right now, you can go to rondaskissgala.com, before the event if you want to throw in a donation, or you can go to rondaskiss.org, which is our website, and you can go to the donation page on the website. But you can also find us on at Ronda's Kiss. You can also find us on Instagram, Ronda's Kiss, Facebook, Ronda's Kiss, Twitter, Ronda's Kiss, and my personal Instagram is Kyle_Stefanski. Sorry, it's a lot of stuff.
No, it's awesome. All good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Yes.
so
Stay tuned.
much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Look at that.
They are gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Okay, so what's one word to describe the way you felt when you put these shoes on?
Holy.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are with breakout pop star Royce. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations on your massive success. We loved hearing your hit at the top of the show. Tell us what inspired that song.
So it's funny, that song's actually about my best friend. And at the time, she was moving to New Zealand, and I was so sad because she'd been like, you know, like my family, because I moved out here when I was 18, and like she became my family out here. So when she was moving, I was like, you know what? No matter what it is, I'll stay in the madness with you, the madness of this world. You know, and a lot of people think it's about a boy, but I'm like, no, it's about my best friend.
Well, it's so important to have a tribe like that.
It's so important. Like the people around you really define you. And so I've gotten really lucky to have just very awesome people in my life.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you came here at 18, and did you were singing already?
Yeah, so I've been singing my whole life. I always joke that I came out of the womb singing, not necessarily crying. I was just like, ah! But yeah, so I just always have loved music, and it's something I've always just felt like I had to do. And I moved out here. I came to school for music production. I got my degree in music production, and it was just awesome. And then I worked with this French producer, and I went and got to record in France. And then I met my current producer, Adrian Gervitz, made this music with him, and it's just been such a fun journey the whole time.
And rumor has it Adrian's worked with some of like the most iconic musicians,
yes.
Including Whitney Houston.
Yeah, Whitney Houston, Aaron Carter, like the list goes on and on.
Royce, tell us about the video we're seeing.
Oh, so this video I actually got to film with one of my best friends. His name is Christian, and it was such a fun video. got to be very raw because I've had my heart broken quite a few times. So I kind of just poured that into this video.
Is that where your greatest inspiration comes from?
Oh,
your
yeah.
own personal life?
Oh, yeah. You know, in music, I feel so lucky that I get to use the hardships of life and make something out of it. You know, it gets to be used rather than just tossed to the side.
Totally. Artists have influenced you the most?
Gosh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I would say one that I always have just looked up to is Katy Perry. I love Katy Perry.
What is it you love most about Katy Perry?
I love that she's unapologetically herself. She isn't afraid to make a fool of herself. She'll have fun, and then she also is very real and down to earth at the same time.
Yeah. She's also very rich.
Oh,
Also something to admire, I suppose.
difficult to be unapologetic in Hollywood, and how has Hollywood embraced you?
Actually, I feel like Hollywood, it's easier to be unapologetically yourself. I feel like California is very accepting. Coming from Texas, it was a bit more difficult to be myself. And then when I came out here, people are actually more accepting. You know, I grew up, I'm curvy. I haven't always been like the skinniest, perfect person. And I've really just grown into this like self-love and self-acceptance, and I am beautiful the way I am. And you would think coming to Hollywood that it would be the opposite, but really out here I feel like I've been more accepted and loved out here than most places.
Yay, La La Land.
I know, right?
Yes.
That's like different than what you usually hear, but I really love it out here.
Right.
So in addition to the role that LA played in your self-love, what would you say has helped you love yourself the most?
Oh, there's so many things. Because I've gone through a lot of just like mental struggles in my life. And I feel like number one, growing my relationship with God and finding my self-worth in putting something into things that can't change. So I used to put my happiness into things that could change and things that were unstable. But now I've decided to put my happiness in things that can't change and getting a firm foundation. And I think when you move out here, there's so many possibilities of who you could be. So you get the opportunity to explore that and really figure out who you want to be and who you are.
Fantastic.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
My pride.
Yes.
Faith in Hollywood. I mean, that's
Yeah.
I think it's one of the biggest disciplines here, to stay grounded, stay knowing that it's all here, no matter what's happening, the success out
Right.
there, that's got to stay in
Yeah,
here.
it's got to start here because things can change. You can get some highs here and some lows, but faith in Hollywood. I like that. That might be my next song. Faith in Hollywood. I love that.
Well, I hope you debut it here on Good
Yes,
Morning
I'll
Hollywood.
come here and sing it first.
Well, tell everyone where they can find and follow your journey and get your music.
So Royce Music, that's basically my handle and everything, but it's ROYSE. Had to be a little different. ROYSE Music, and anywhere you can find me.
Oh, thank you
Fantastic.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Friday night.
Thank you for sharing your crown with me. It was such an incredible honor to cover the red carpet for the 46th Annual Creative Arts Emmys and to step in for you tonight.
It's fun.
What a moment to celebrate daytime television, and that we are welcomed and representing this family is truly humbling, and I am forever grateful for this
Oh,
experience.
please, my pleasure.
Honestly.
Your show, La La Land, which I was on and which I
Yes,
loved.
thank you.
Because the questions you asked were so interesting for me and for all the guests that day. Your show has a lot of heart.
We really do.
Yeah.
We really do. There is a positive shift happening in Hollywood, and that
Do you
is
think
heart.
so?
I
Really?
do think so.
I
I
hope
do.
so.
I do, Carolyn. I believe we are on the rise, and we are on the rise together.
Braylon Brooks is in the house. We're talking about manifestation, magical mindfulness, everything, and nothing better than a fashion blogger, travel, all of the above.
Yes.
What's up, honey?
Hi, how are you? I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Braylon, you are AKA the real life mannequin.
Yes.
Tell us what that means to you. I mean, beyond just obviously looking like a real life
Okay.
mannequin.
Well, I'll tell you about a little bit how the name started. So before I began doing what I'm doing today, I used to work at the Navy Exchange in San Diego, and sometimes I would stand really still, and I would be really decked out, dapper, and I would make me move, and somebody would be like, "Oh my God, we thought you were a mannequin." So when I initially wanted to launch a platform, I thought about calling it the Real Life Mannequin because it made sense. But the Real Life Mannequin is more so about creating real life experiences that won't go unnoticed. And so I have a pretty, you know, interesting story how I started about, you know, I once lived on Skid Row for a year, and you know, at the same time I was interviewing celebrities on the red carpet at.
Okay, wait. We don't know the story.
Oh, you don't know the story? Yeah.
So tell us, take us there.
Okay.
What happened?
So I moved to LA back in 2010, and you know, just like anybody who has like dreams, they struggle, they go through things. And I remember I called my mom one day, and I never told my family, so I kept it a secret from my family. But how I got into luxury travel fashion blogging to now, I called my mom one day. I said, Mom, there's a red carpet event going on outside of Sephora, which I was there working doing makeup at the time, and I was like, I'm just gonna start crashing, you know. So I started in my group of friends. I became notorious for crashing, like, you know, the Grammys, Golden Globes. I even crashed the Grammys red carpet 3 times before I actually came. You know, really, yeah. Don't have, you know, so. But I met this woman who was starting a media outlet on YouTube. So she thought it would be cool to do, like, you know, go to like different premieres and things like that, interview public figures, talk about fashion. So I started doing that. So that's how I kind of built up my platform on YouTube initially, and then.
Meanwhile, you were living on Skid Row.
Yes, I was. So I kept it a secret for I lived on Skid Row for about 1.5 years, yeah.
I think this is a really, really important conversation, and I don't want this to just be glossed over because for so many people who are doing some of the most glamorous things in Hollywood, it's going unpaid, unfunded, or unnoticed in a way that you ended up homeless. Meanwhile, you are at the most glamorous events.
And it's, so I actually, it's so funny because red carpet was for like 2 years before I actually they got funded to be able to support me to do hosting. And then, so it became really cool because I would interview like French Montana or like talk to Mark Cuban. They're like, oh, I like your outfit. So I was like, well, maybe I should start reaching out to brands to sponsor. This was before influencer became a term, and then it's like, on Instagram, you know, I would share my pictures in a really unique way. So
you recognized a business opportunity for yourself.
I did, and we pitched my reel to do that, so that way we could get like sponsorship from like, you know, other brands. So that way I wouldn't obviously be on Skid Row forever. You know?
Because rather than waiting to be discovered or having somebody else give you an opportunity, you created opportunity for yourself.
Yes.
And that is the key to surviving Hollywood.
Right, and you know, when I came out to the story, my mom was like, well, you were interviewing this person, and why didn't you ask them for help? And I was just like, well, they have 1 million people asking for help, and I always just thought about getting it myself. And so, you know, that later launched the RLM Travel Lux, you know, fashion and travel. So, you know, I partner with luxury, boutique, and corporate brands internationally, and I create content for them, video, photo, editorial, and So, and I just launched a travel project this in January, so I've been working on that. So I have 20 destinations to fulfill this year.
Wow.
So
I'm and let's talk about Sin magazine. You were just on the cover, graced the cover, correct?
Yes, so Sin magazine is a Eastern European based publication that's based in Latvia, but they do sell them in, I think, St. Petersburg and Moscow, so it's like Russian, the Eastern Europe,
Well done, congratulations.
So how that happened was crazy because I was ended up in Latvia, Riga in May of last year on my birthday. My birthday just passed, May 3rd.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. So I went to this party and I met this guy, and he was like, and I told him about my story about being, you know, homeless and things. He thought it was like really interesting. Had no idea he was editor-in-chief. You know, I thought he was just gonna put it like online on a little blog or something. 6 months later, he sent me a picture. It was like a real like mock-up of an actual cover. And
wow.
Yeah, so it was like that happened.
Your resilience and your strength is just so deeply inspiring. In addition, of course, your talent. What would you say has been most helpful to you in terms of like networking with people? Because you seem to do a really great job of that.
I just like, I'm pretty sure you've been in a room with like a lot of influential, affluent people. And you know what I just realized, it never really fazed me in a way. And I think that just kept me like grounded because it was like, I think when you experience contrast in your life, I was experiencing I was like where I would want to be, and I could feel it, I could touch it, I could see it.
Where you belong.
Where I belong, exactly. Thank you. I was where I belong, but when I was living on Skid Row, where I was, my head wasn't. So, you know, I was exposed to like a lot of, I never done drugs or anything, but I was exposed to it. But that, even though I was there physically, my mental wasn't there. So it allowed me to like be where I am today, like, you know, go to Europe and like partner with like a luxury, like resort and, you know, create content and, you know, exude what I do best.
Well, congratulations on manifesting that destiny for yourself. Tell everyone where they can find and follow your journey as the Real Life Mannequin.
You can go to thereallifemannequin.com or Braylon Brooks, BRAYLN BROKS on Instagram, and that'll lead you to everything as well.
Oh, congratulations. We're excited to follow your journey.
Thank you so much.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning Holland.
Thank you so much.
Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of these interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show can be seen on EverTalk TV, now available on Apple TV.
This is my first TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. You can always find these videos and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
I would love to stay.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. Michelle Gelati is in the house. We're talking all things branding experience and really seizing the moment so you can live the life you are meant to live. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
I think your mission is so incredible and now more timely than ever. Tell us about your journey to getting to where you are now.
Yes, so wow, I actually just really felt that question. My journey, is, I want to say, very similar to so many of our journeys in that, I started in, trials and tribulations is really sort of the short answer. I started in a family that was very chaotic, and there was domestic abuse specifically in the home, and so it was a life that taught me a lot about myself and about expression, honestly, because from a young child, I lived a life where it was not so available to us both, to both women in the family, to be expressive, to really be everything that you were here, are here to be. And so, cut to from those early beginnings, and sort of playing small, becoming a woman in corporate America. Now, starting my business 18 years ago, and learning a new life, learning how to express myself, learning to have a voice, learning to heal, learning to heal the wounds that inspire us all to not say what we feel, to not live the life we really want to live, or start the business or help people.
Resilience is obviously an important key, whether it be positive psychology, spirituality, whatever. We know that this is like, look, we all have, if you get into people's lives, everyone has a pretty intense story. A lot of people anyway. How do you feel? I feel like business is it's like a spiritual journey in of itself. I mean, helping people have their business is really an expression of them, right? How do you help birth that specific?
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Erin. That's exactly the place that I come from. Honestly, I call the branding work, the expression work, the identity work that I do really spiritual branding, just living. I mean, it really is just, there's such a connection to spirituality in the sense that spirituality to me means finding a sense of self, which is exactly what I did and still do. Again, it's a never-ending, beautiful journey of expression. So with the women that I work with, and I work with men too, but not as often as women, it's exactly that. It's not just about, okay, let's look good. It is, how can you feel good? What is your true story? Let's not hide that. I hid mine for a long time. It was not something that I felt that I could share. Maybe I wasn't through that. I hadn't transformed myself. So it really is not. It's getting to the heart of the matter. What is your story? What is your true story? And now let's really figure out. Okay, well, how does that connect with who you want to connect with most? And because it's like being on this couch. You don't need notes to know who you are, but there are so many of us, that myself included, that do need that support of having someone hear you, from the sense of healing work and therapy and whatnot, but also from the business perspective, having an observer really hear you and go, okay, I hear where you've come from. Right. Now this is why this business that you're creating makes sense.
So how do you get your message, your brand, to really translate to an audience, especially in the age of social media?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely starts from story. So I honestly see places like Instagram, Facebook, whether you're doing, video or written posts, it's really, and this is where authentic branding is. It's like, again, you don't have to overthink it. This is not about planning, you know what I mean? Planning your posts. It's really about what is alive in me in this moment. And how can I write from this moment right here? Not from, you know what I mean, what might look good or sound good, but what am I feeling? Everything in this type of expression work really comes from feeling. Feeling is the attraction field. So if you can really come from that place of what is true for me in this moment, you know, what did I just do 5 minutes ago, or what did I just do an hour ago, and what is the message that wants to come through? It's from that place of feeling that others will feel you, and you know. We all have been there where we read someone or see someone's video, you know, on social media, and it's like this, we're moved, we're like leaning closer to them.
Yeah.
We want to know more.
Well, tell people where they can find and follow and work with you specifically.
Yes. So on Facebook and Instagram, well, on Facebook it's Michelle Gilotti, G-H-I-L-O-T-T-I. On Instagram it's Couture Happiness. And the website is michellegilotti.com, and then another website is thegreatergoodparty.com, which we didn't get to talk about today, but it is still the newest expression of me is called the Greater Good Party, where we travel around the country and create parties that foster connection and help people with their purpose.
Oh, I love
Sounds
that.
like a party I want to go
I know.
to.
Please come.
Thank you so much for all your work. So important.
Thank you. Thank you
Stay
so
tuned.
much.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. Thanks for joining us on this meaningful Monday. Question for our extraordinary guest today is, what's the one tip you might have for folks that are looking for greater meaning in their life? Like, if there's something that you've discovered that really worked for you, we'd love to hear it. You can start, you got the mic.
Obviously, my advice is to do an act of kindness, because just starting small by doing something for someone else really does amplify the good in the world.
Nice.
Yes, and on that train, I would say, you know, purpose and fulfillment and meaning can feel so big. But what is it in your life that has pained you? You know, your little person, you know, in your family, what has pained you? And go out into the world and find and fill that need. You know, help people feel better in a really simple way from that.
Fantastic.
Well, for me, the biggest thing has always been my relationship with God. So I think pursuing that, or trying to find something that's bigger than you and not putting your happiness in things that can change, is very important.
Yes.
Preach that one.
I think everybody you meet will have something to offer. So don't shut them down before you give them a chance.
Very true.
Beautiful.
Well, I always say make it happen even if the rest of the world says it's impossible. So I believe in creating your own reality and opportunity, and not looking for handouts. If you want to do something, take the opportunity, the initiative to do it. And once you start to take a step, even if you don't know the tools and have the assets to do so, when you take that first step, everything else will unfold.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Thank
true.
you all
Thank
so
you.
much. We are Good
Thank
Morning
you.
La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of these interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV, available on Apple TV.
That's right. We are waking up the world together. Have a great week, you guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the above. Make it happen.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.